The massive screen in Earth's Global Defense Command Center lit up with dozens of red warning signals. Admiral James Walker stood from his chair, his eyes fixed on the energy readings appearing at the edge of the solar system. They were unlike anything Earth's sensors had ever detected before. "Sir, the readings are off the charts," said Lieutenant Rogers, her fingers flying over the control panel. "Whatever these objects are, they're bigger than anything we've ever seen." Admiral Walker straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. After 30 years in the service, he had thought he'd seen everything. He was wrong. "Get me a direct line to the World Council," he ordered. "And someone tell me what exactly we're looking at." Before anyone could answer, the massive objects emerged from what appeared to be tiers in space itself. The ships, because that's what they clearly were, gleamed like polished chrome under the distant sunlight. The smallest of them was larger than Earth's biggest city, and the largest could have easily contained several countries. The command center fell silent. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers whispered, "we're receiving a transmission. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, in perfect English." Walker nodded. "Put it through." The main screen flickered, and a face appeared that made everyone in the room gasp. It was human, or at least it looked human. The man wore a uniform made of some shifting metallic material that seemed to change color with every movement. "People of Earth," the man said, his voice carrying an accent that couldn't quite be placed. "I am Ambassador Thomas of the Galactic Empire. We have come to welcome you into our eternal fellowship of worlds." Walker stepped forward. "This is Admiral James Walker of the United Earth Defense Force. We were not expecting visitors." The ambassador smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Few are, Admiral. The Empire has found that surprise visits yield the most authentic responses. We have been watching your world for some time. Your species has shown remarkable potential. The Empire would be pleased to guide you into a new age of prosperity." "Guide us?" Walker asked, not liking the ambassador's tone. "In what way?" "Earth will be integrated into the Empire's systems. Your unique biological and cultural attributes will be harvested and distributed throughout Imperial space. Your people will serve where they are most needed. It is a great honor." The temperature in the command center seemed to drop several degrees. Walker's jaw tightened. "And if we decline this honor?" For the first time, Ambassador Thomas's smile faltered. "Decline? I don't understand. No one declines integration into the Empire." "Well," Walker said, standing straighter, "there's a first time for everything. Earth respectfully declines your offer." The ambassador's face showed genuine confusion. "Admiral, I don't think you understand. This isn't a negotiation. The Empire has chosen Earth for integration. Resistance would be—" He paused, searching for the right word. "Unprecedented." "Then I suppose we'll be setting a precedent," Walker replied firmly. "Earth is not interested in being harvested or integrated. We are an independent world, and we intend to stay that way." The confusion on Ambassador Thomas's face turned to concern. He turned to speak to someone off-screen, his words quick and worried. When he faced the camera again, his diplomatic smile had vanished. "Admiral Walker, surely you realize the Empire's fleet could reduce your entire planet to ash within hours. We prefer peaceful integration, but we are not opposed to using force when necessary." Walker smiled for the first time since the conversation began. "Ambassador, surely you realize that if you could simply take what you wanted, you wouldn't have bothered with this conversation. You need something from us, something that would be useless if we were reduced to ash." The ambassador's face darkened. "You are making a grave mistake, Admiral. The Empire has never failed to integrate a chosen world. Never." "Then I suggest you prepare yourself for disappointment," Walker replied. "Earth declares itself off-limits to your Empire. We will not be integrated, harvested, or guided." End transmission. The screen went dark. For a long moment, nobody in the command center spoke. Finally, Lieutenant Rogers broke the silence. "Sir, What do we do now? Admiral Walker turned to face his crew, his expression determined. Now we prepare for war. And we show this empire why they should have left Earth alone. Ambassador Thomas stood alone in his private quarters aboard the Empire's flagship, staring at his reflection in the window. Beyond the glass, Earth hung like a blue jewel in the darkness. He had been born on a world much like this one, before the Empire came. That was 50 years ago, though he looked no more than 30, one of the Empire's many gifts to its loyal servants. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. "Enter," he called out. The door slid open, revealing Admiral Walker and 2 armed guards. The Earth military leader had agreed to come aboard for private talks, showing either great courage or great foolishness, perhaps both. "You requested this meeting," Walker said, his voice firm. "Make it quick." Thomas turned from the window. "I asked you here because I need you to understand what you're facing. The Empire." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "The Empire isn't just here for your resources or your territory." "Then what do they want?" "They want what makes humans special." Thomas walked to his desk and pressed a button. A hologram appeared, showing various human achievements throughout history. Your adaptability, your creativity, your stubborn refusal to accept defeat. The Empire has watched humanity recover from plagues, wars, natural disasters, always emerging stronger. Walker's expression remained neutral. "You make it sound like they admire us." "They do. That's what makes this dangerous." Thomas leaned forward. "The Empire doesn't just conquer worlds, Admiral. They harvest the essence of what makes each species unique. They extract it, study it, and distribute it throughout their population. Humanity's resilience would be processed, distilled, added to the Empire's collective traits." The color drained from Walker's face. "You're talking about some kind of biological harvesting. And psychological, cultural, everything that makes humans human." Thomas's voice grew quiet. "I know because they did it to my world. I am what's left after they take everything that matters." Walker took a step forward. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because the Empire has never faced real resistance. They've grown complacent, arrogant. They expect Earth to fall like every other world." Thomas smiled slightly. "But I've studied your history. Humans are different. You might actually have a chance, if you act quickly. Tell me what we're up against." Thomas activated another hologram, showing the Empire's fleet formations. "They'll start with a display of force. Destroy a few uninhabited areas to demonstrate their power. Then they'll offer mercy in exchange for submission. When that fails, they'll target your leaders, trying to create chaos. But their weapons have weaknesses. Their ships rely on AI systems that—" Thomas stopped suddenly, his body going rigid. He clutched his throat, gasping. Walker stepped forward to help, but Thomas waved him away. "Neural implants," he choked out. "Can't say too much. But study their scout ship, the one that crashed in the Pacific. You'll find answers." The door burst open as Imperial guards rushed in. "Ambassador Thomas," one announced, "the High Command requires your presence immediately." Thomas straightened, his face once again a mask of diplomatic calm. "Of course." Admiral Walker was just leaving. Walker studied Thomas for a long moment before nodding. "Thank you for the history lesson, Ambassador." As Walker left the room, Thomas called after him. "Remember, Admiral, you have one thing the Empire has never encountered before." "And what's that?" "A species that values freedom more than survival." Hours later, Admiral Walker stood before the World Council, delivering the most important speech of his life. The chamber was packed with leaders from every nation on Earth. "The threat we face is unlike anything in human history," he declared. "The Empire doesn't just want our resources or our territory. They want to harvest what makes us human. They want to take our very essence and use it for themselves." The chamber erupted in angry shouts and fearful murmurs. Walker raised his hand for silence. But we have advantages they don't expect. We have a crashed scout ship full of their technology. We have information about their weaknesses. And most importantly, we have something worth fighting for, our humanity itself. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of each leader. The Empire thinks Earth will be just another conquered world. I say we show them why they should have never come here. Who's with me? The chamber's response was unanimous. Earth was going to war. Dr. Emily Ross wiped sweat from her forehead as she stared at the twisted metal of the Empire scout ship. The vessel had crashed in the Pacific Ocean 3 days ago, during the Empire's first show of force. Now it sat in a heavily guarded underground facility, surrounded by Earth's best scientists. Dr. Ross, a voice called out. You need to see this. She hurried over to where her team had opened a panel in the ship's hull. Inside, strange crystals pulsed with a soft blue light. But what caught her attention was the writing on the inner wall. Perfect English. It's not just English, another scientist said, pointing to different sections. Look, it's showing in whatever language the viewer speaks, some kind of advanced translation system. Emily touched the panel carefully. No, it's more than that. The ship, it's reading our minds. Across the world, similar discoveries were being made. The Empire's technology wasn't just advanced, it was built to interface directly with thought patterns. This was both their greatest strength and, potentially, their greatest weakness. In the command center above, Admiral Walker received Emily's preliminary report. So their ships are partially controlled by AI that reads brain patterns. Yes, Emily's voice crackled through the speaker. But here's the interesting part. The system seems confused by human brain patterns. We're too unpredictable. Walker smiled. Can we use that? Better than that, Emily replied. We can block it completely. Human minds are like static to their systems. If we can amplify that effect. Get it done, Walker ordered. Whatever you need, you'll have it. The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. Every nation on Earth contributed their resources and expertise to the war effort. Former enemies became allies, sharing military secrets and scientific breakthroughs. The Empire had succeeded in doing something no one thought possible, uniting all of humanity under a single cause. In orbit, construction crews worked round the clock to build defense platforms using modified Empire technology. The asteroid belt became a minefield of hidden weapons and sensors. Earth's modest space fleet was rapidly upgraded with hybrid systems combining human ingenuity with Empire tech. Commander Marcus Stone led the training of Earth's first space guerrilla warfare units. The Empire expects us to fight like they do, with giant ships in organized formations, he told his troops. We're going to show them something different, something they've never seen before. His soldiers learned to pilot small, agile craft that could hide in debris fields and strike without warning. They practiced maneuvers that would seem insane to the Empire's AI-driven ships. Every pilot was chosen for their ability to think creatively and adapt quickly, traits that would confuse and overwhelm the Empire's automated systems. General Lisa Chen coordinated the global defense network from her underground command post. The Empire thinks size equals strength, she explained to her international staff. But Earth's history shows that the cleverer force often defeats the larger one. We'll use their assumptions against them. Under her direction, fake bases were constructed while real ones were hidden deep underground or underwater. Decoy signals were broadcast to confuse Empire sensors, while actual communications used methods the Empire would never expect, including old-fashioned radio waves and even Morse code. 30 days after first contact, Earth was transformed. Cities had gone dark to hide from Empire sensors. Military bases had been relocated. The planet's surface looked abandoned. But beneath the ground, inside mountains, and under the oceans, humanity was preparing for the fight of its existence. That's when the Empire's second message arrived. Admiral Walker stood before the main screen as Ambassador Thomas's face appeared. The ambassador looked troubled. "This is your final opportunity," Thomas said, though his voice lacked its usual confidence. "Submit to peaceful integration, or face the consequences." Walker looked around the command center, at the determined faces of his crew, at the readouts showing Earth's new defenses, at the reports of humanity's unprecedented unity and preparation. "Ambassador," he replied calmly, "we've spent the last month preparing our answer." He paused, allowing himself a small smile. "The answer is still no." As the screen went dark, Walker turned to his staff. "Send the signal. Operation Thunderstorm begins now." Across the solar system, humanity's defenders moved into position. The real war was about to begin. The Empire's attack began at dawn. Their massive ships appeared from hyperspace like rising suns, weapons already charging. The first blast hit Earth's moon, carving a crater visible from the surface. It was meant to frighten humanity into submission. Instead, it triggered Operation Thunderstorm. "All units, execute planned response." Admiral Walker's voice echoed through every Earth Defender's communication system. "Remember your training. Stay unpredictable. Make them work for every inch." The Empire ships moved forward in perfect formation, their AI systems coordinating every movement. They expected Earth's defenses to be centered around the planet. They were wrong. Commander Stone's voice crackled through the radio. "Guerrilla Squad 1, show them what humans can do." From within the asteroid belt, hundreds of small ships suddenly appeared. They moved in patterns that seemed random, almost crazy. The Empire's AI systems tried to predict their movements and failed completely. "Their targeting systems can't lock onto us," a pilot shouted excitedly. "The random flight patterns are working." Stone smiled. "All units, attack pattern Delta. Just like we practiced." The small Earth ships darted between the Empire's massive vessels, firing precise shots at previously identified weak points. The Empire's ships tried to respond, but their weapons were designed to hit large targets, not small, erratically moving craft. On the Empire's command ship, alarms blared. "Our eye targeting systems are malfunctioning," a crew member reported to his superior. "The human pilots, their movements make no logical sense." In Earth's command center, Dr. Emily Ross monitored the battle through special sensors. "The brain pattern interference is working perfectly," she reported. "Their ships can't properly process human thought patterns. It's disrupting their whole combat system." The Empire's ships began firing wildly, trying to hit the nimble Earth vessels. Instead, they hit each other. 3 massive Imperial ships exploded in the first hour of battle. But the Empire wasn't defeated easily. They launched thousands of fighter drones, filling space with automated weapons. "Let's see them dodge this," the Imperial commander said with satisfaction. That's when General Chen activated her surprise. "Launch the EMPs," she ordered. Hidden weapons platforms around the solar system activated, releasing powerful electromagnetic pulses modified with Empire technology. The drones froze, their AI systems overwhelmed by the combined effect of the EMPs and the confusing human brain patterns they were trying to process. "Impossible," the Imperial commander shouted as he watched his drone fleet drift helplessly in space. "Their technology is primitive. How are they doing this?" The answer came in the form of Earth's largest ships, emerging from hiding spots behind the moon. These vessels, led by Admiral Walker himself, had been modified with captured Empire technology combined with human engineering. "Target their flagship," Walker ordered. "Let's show them what happens when human creativity meets Empire tech." The Earth ships fired their main weapons, hybrid cannons that combined Empire energy weapons with old-fashioned human ballistic technology. The Empire shields, designed to stop energy weapons, couldn't handle the physical ammunition enhanced with their own energy signatures. The Imperial flagship shields collapsed. Before they could recover, Commander Stone's guerrilla ships swarmed in through the gap, targeting crucial systems with surgical precision. "Admiral," the Imperial commander's voice came through, showing fear for the first time. We request a temporary ceasefire to assess damages. Walker looked at his tactical display. In the first battle between Earth and the Empire, humanity had destroyed 5 capital ships, disabled an entire drone fleet, and severely damaged the Imperial flagship. Earth's losses were minimal, thanks to their unconventional tactics. Ceasefire granted, Walker replied. Would you like to discuss your surrender? Surrender? The Imperial commander sounded shocked. This was merely our first wave. The Empire never retreats. Walker smiled. Then we'll be happy to continue teaching you new things. All units, maintain combat positions. Let them decide. Retreat or learn another lesson about human ingenuity. The Empire ships began to pull back, their perfect formation now broken and scattered. For the first time in their history, they had met a species they couldn't simply overwhelm with superior technology. The first battle was over. Earth had won. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. Dr. Emily Ross stared at the holographic display floating above her lab table. It showed the captured Empire ship they'd been studying for the past month. After their first victory, Earth had managed to capture an intact Imperial vessel, complete with its AI systems. Show me the neural interface again, she said to her computer. The display zoomed in on the ship's control center. A young technician rushed into the lab. Dr. Ross, we've done it. The stealth system works. Emily hurried to follow him to the testing chamber. Inside, a small spacecraft sat on a landing pad. To her eyes, it was clearly visible. But on every scanner they had, including captured Empire technology, the ship simply didn't exist. How? She asked, though she already knew the answer. The technician grinned. We used their own brain pattern technology against them. The ship doesn't just hide from sensors. It actively makes their AI systems ignore it. We're calling it blind spot technology. In orbit, Admiral Walker received the news with satisfaction. Begin immediate production, he ordered. Outfit Commander Stone's guerrilla fleet first. The Empire had retreated to the edge of the solar system after their defeat, but everyone knew they were calling for reinforcements. Earth needed every advantage they could get. At the lunar shipyards, General Chen supervised the construction of Earth's new defense fleet. The ships looked nothing like traditional space vessels. They combined Empire technology with human engineering in ways the Empire would never have considered. Their biggest weakness is their reliance on AI and logic, Chen explained to her staff. So we're building ships that don't make logical sense to their systems. The new vessels could change shape, splitting apart and recombining in ways that confused Empire targeting systems. Their weapons used unpredictable combinations of technology that Empire shields couldn't properly defend against. In his private quarters aboard the Imperial flagship, Ambassador Thomas watched Earth's preparation with mixed emotions. He had successfully convinced his superiors to wait for reinforcements before attacking again, but he knew what was coming. My lord, a subordinate entered his room. We've detected unusual energy readings from Earth. Thomas examined the data and felt a chill. The humans weren't just copying Empire technology. They were improving it, changing it, combining it with their own innovations in ways the Empire had never imagined. Send this to High Command, he ordered. They need to understand what we're dealing with. Back on Earth, Commander Stone led a training exercise with his newly equipped guerrilla fleet. The ships, now invisible to Empire sensors, practiced complex maneuvers that would have been impossible a month ago. Remember, he told his pilots, our greatest advantage isn't the technology. It's how we use it. The Empire thinks in straight lines. We think around corners. In her lab, Dr. Ross made another breakthrough. She found a way to not just block the Empire's AI systems, but to feed them false information. Earth ships could now appear to be in one place while actually being in another. It's like giving their computers hallucinations, she explained to Admiral Walker. Their entire targeting and tactical system depends on AI. We've found a way to make that AI doubt its own sensors. Walker nodded. How soon can we implement this? We already have. Half the ships they think they're detecting at the edge of the system don't exist, and they haven't spotted our real fleet hiding behind Mars." The Admiral smiled. The Empire thought they could simply overwhelm us with advanced technology. Instead, they gave us the tools to defeat them. A lieutenant rushed into the room. "Sir, we're detecting multiple hyperspace signatures. The Empire's reinforcements have arrived." Walker looked at the tactical display. The Empire's new fleet was massive, easily 10 times the size of their first attack force. But this time, Earth was ready. "Send word to all commands," he ordered. "Operation Ghost Fleet begins in 1 hour. Let's show the Empire what happens when humans decide to improve their technology." The battle for Earth was about to enter its second phase, and humanity had some surprises ready for their unwelcome visitors. The Empire's reinforcement fleet filled the space near Jupiter, 10,000 ships strong. Their formation was perfect, their power overwhelming. It was the largest fleet the Empire had ever sent to conquer a single world. On the command deck of Earth's lead ship, Admiral Walker watched calmly. "Are all Ghost Fleet units in position?" "Yes, sir," General Chen replied from her station on Mars. "The Empire can only see our decoy ships. Our real fleet is completely invisible to their sensors." The Empire's new commander, High General Marcus, stood proudly on his bridge. Unlike Ambassador Thomas, he had no human ancestry, no understanding of Earth's people. He saw only a primitive world that needed to be taught its place. "Send the demand for surrender," he ordered. "Let them see the futility of resistance." The message arrived at Earth's command center. Walker read it and smiled. "Send our response." In the vast space between Mars and Jupiter, a single Earth ship appeared, small, seemingly defenseless. It drifted toward the Empire fleet. The Empire's sensors detected no weapons, no shields, nothing but a simple communication system. "How insulting," High General Marcus sneered. "They send one tiny ship to face our armada." Then the single ship broadcast its message, not just to the Empire fleet, but to every corner of occupied space. "Attention all worlds under Empire control." Walker's voice rang out. "Watch carefully. Today, Earth will show you that the Empire is not invincible." Before the Empire could react, Operation Ghost Fleet began. Hundreds of Earth ships suddenly appeared behind the Empire fleet, seeming to materialize from nowhere. They were Commander Stone's guerrilla squadrons, hidden by the new stealth technology. "Impossible," High General Marcus shouted. "Where did they come from?" But that was just the beginning. The Empire's tactical displays went crazy as thousands of phantom ships appeared and disappeared, their AI systems unable to distinguish real targets from Dr. Ross's electronic hallucinations. "Their entire fleet is compromised," Dr. Ross reported from Earth. "Their AI can't handle the false data. They can't tell which targets are real and which aren't." The Empire fleet began firing wildly at phantom targets, their perfect formation breaking apart in confusion. That's when Earth's main fleet, hidden behind Mars, made its move. The new hybrid ships, combining Earth creativity with modified Empire technology, struck with devastating effect. They changed shape as they attacked, splitting apart and recombining in ways that made the Empire's targeting computers crash. Ambassador Thomas watched from his ship as the Empire's mighty fleet fell into chaos. "They've done it," he whispered. "They've actually done it." The battle spread across the solar system. Earth's smaller, more agile ships darted between the Empire's massive vessels. Some Empire ships, confused by conflicting data, began firing at their own fleet. In the chaos, something unprecedented happened. An Empire transport ship, carrying troops from a recently conquered world, broke formation. Then another, and another. "Sir," a lieutenant called out to Walker, "we're receiving transmissions from multiple Empire ships. They're surrendering." Walker watched as more ships broke away from the Empire's fleet. The conquered species serving on those ships had seen something they'd never believed possible: the Empire being defeated. High General Marcus raged as his fleet fell apart around him. This is impossible. We are the Empire. We cannot be defeated by primitives. His words were cut short as his flagship systems suddenly shut down, disabled by a virus Dr. Ross had hidden in their communication network. 6 hours after the battle began, it was over. Half the Empire fleet was destroyed. A quarter had surrendered. The rest fled back into hyperspace, carrying news of their defeat to the far corners of the galaxy. In Earth's command center, the celebration was interrupted by an urgent message. It came from a dozen different worlds, all saying the same thing. Their people had risen up against their Empire overlords. Walker turned to his staff, his expression serious. "Send word to all commands. The war isn't over. It's just gone galaxy-wide. Earth fought for its freedom. Now we'll help others fight for theirs." The Empire had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they had sparked a revolution that would change the galaxy forever. 1 year after Earth's victory in the solar system, Admiral Walker stood on the observation deck of humanity's new diplomatic station. Through the massive windows, he could see ships from 20 different alien species in orbit. Each represented a world that had broken free from the Empire. Ambassador Thomas stood beside him, no longer wearing Empire colors. The neural implants that had controlled him had been removed, thanks to Earth's medical advances. He was now Earth's chief diplomat to former Empire worlds. "The Empire's council is arriving," Thomas said quietly. "They've never negotiated with anyone before. They don't even know how." Walker nodded. "Then we'll teach them, just like we taught them about defeat." The Empire delegation emerged from their ship, smaller and less impressive than their old vessels. Dr. Ross's innovations had spread throughout the galaxy, making their old technology obsolete. They could no longer rely on AI systems that human ingenuity had learned to confuse and control. In the Grand Meeting Hall, representatives from Earth sat across from Empire officials. Behind Earth's delegation stood leaders from all the newly freed worlds. The Empire officials looked uncomfortable, faced with something they'd never imagined. "Equals. We are prepared to discuss terms," the Empire's chief counselor announced, trying to sound dignified. Admiral Walker stepped forward. "No, you're here to accept terms. Earth's declaration isn't just for us anymore. It's for every world that wants to be free." He activated a holographic display, showing the new boundaries they had drawn. The Empire would be reduced to its original home systems. All conquered worlds would have the choice to become independent. "This is outrageous," an Empire official shouted. "You can't simply." "We already have," General Chen interrupted, pointing to the tactical display showing the combined fleets of Earth and the freed worlds. "Your choice is simple. Accept these terms or lose everything." Commander Stone, who had spent the past year teaching Earth's tactics to other species, smiled. "Your eyes still can't handle our technology. Your ships can't fight our methods. Do you really want to test us further?" The Empire officials whispered among themselves. Finally, the chief counselor spoke. "We accept the terms." Walker nodded to Dr. Ross, who activated the treaty document. It was called the Earth Declaration, a guarantee of freedom for any world that wanted it. As the Empire officials signed, Thomas leaned close to Walker. "Do you know what amazes them most? Not that you defeated them, but that you're letting them survive it all." "Earth remembers its own history," Walker replied. "The strongest peace comes from turning enemies into partners, not from destroying them completely." The treaty was signed. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Empire had surrendered territory. Earth was officially recognized as sovereign space, and more importantly, as a sanctuary for any species seeking freedom. In the years that followed, Earth became the center of a new alliance, not an empire, but a federation of free worlds. The technology that had helped win the war was shared, modified by each species to fit their own needs and cultures. Admiral Walker retired from military service to become the first leader of this new federation. In his inaugural speech, he said words that would be remembered for generations. Earth's greatest victory wasn't defeating the Empire. It was showing the galaxy a new way forward. We proved that being different isn't a weakness. It's a strength. That creativity matters more than conformity. That freedom is worth fighting for. And most importantly, that no power in the galaxy can stand against people united in the cause of liberty. The Empire never tried to invade Earth again. Their simple no-entry declaration had turned into something much bigger, a revolution that changed the galaxy forever. On a clear night, humans could look up at the stars and see ships from dozens of worlds moving freely through space. Each one was a reminder that sometimes the smallest worlds could make the biggest differences. Earth had declared itself off-limits to the Empire. In doing so, it had set the entire galaxy free.